Hi everyone. Before we get underway today, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the very sad news from earlier in the week, the tragic deaths of Owen Jenner and Shane Richardson at the British Supersport race at Oulton Park here in the UK on Monday. Whilst we focus on F1 racing in the virtual world here at M1 Racing, we are all ultimately motorsport fans, which is a sport that brings us together in so many wonderful ways. We know that motorsport is dangerous, which is partly why it is so exciting to watch and participate in. Fortunately, tragedies like this are very rare now, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with when events like this do happen. The thoughts and prayers of everyone here at M1 Racing and G-Force Racing are with the friends and family of all those affected by the events from Monday. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks. Welcome to M1 Racing as we enter the business end of Season 5 of the G-Force Racing Elite League. My name is Mark and I'm going to be your host for the next 90 minutes or so on what could end up deciding a new G-Force Racing champion. More on that in just a few moments' time. If you want to keep me company as we watch along today, please do so using the chat. You'll need to follow us on Twitch with a verified email and then you should be able to say hi, and it would be great to have you with us. I'm sure there'll be some drivers and ex-drivers joining us in the Twitch chat as we go through today's race. So let me bring you up to speed on what happened last time out. We had two races for our money, a sprint round in Imola, and it did not disappoint. And as you can see from the top right corner of your screen, folks, that's a replay of this qualifying from the feature race. It was very wet in the second half of the day in Imola. The first half, though, was dry. Emerge KDs came home first in the sprint race, maximum points for them, followed very closely by KKE, who had one of their best performances with G-Force Racing for some time. Congratulations to them, finishing in second spot. SS7 came home in third. Thank you, Emerge. I think it needed to be said. And go well today, my friend. Hopefully we'll speak to you a little bit later on. So SS7 came home in third, Liam Mag in fourth on track, although I think they came over the line in first. It's just that penalties played a massive role last week in where everyone ended up finishing in the final running order. Liam Mag eventually in fourth, M1 Righty in fifth. There was a great battle at the front during the sprint race. Go and watch the replay, folks, from last week. It's on my Twitch channel for a few more days and is also on my YouTube channel for as long as they'll allow me to keep it up there. Emil came home in sixth, Jacobo in seventh, and Jaguar Paul picked up the final point there in eighth. Sydney was back with us last week and picked up the fastest lap. Sadly for them, you don't get any points for a fastest lap in the sprint race, but they were very quick, which was certainly visible when we went into the feature race. Goat Ghosty DNFing, interestingly, in the sprint, but it was all very, very different in the feature race, which came soon afterwards. And as you could tell, the weather played a notable role in that, and we're also slightly distracted by the score from last week between Barcelona and Inter Milan as well, which kept the goals kept rolling in as we kept watching the overtakes take place in Imola. Liam Mag came home victorious in the feature race with another very, very strong performance. Closely followed, though, by Goat Ghosty. Now, Goat Ghosty was my driver of the day last week. The first half of the race in Imola was wet, and Goat was untouchable in those really slippery conditions. As the track dried up, Liam came back into it and eventually was victorious. Emerge KDs, importantly for them and their championship fight, came home in third, and as you can see, it was a very good day for the RBs, finishing second and third. Emil back close to the top of the running order. They came home in fourth in the feature race, then followed by SS7 in fifth. Another reasonable day for them and Mercedes. M1 Righty eventually in sixth. Jaguar Paul in seventh. Sydney, fastest lap again, in eighth, and this time they did get an extra point for fastest lap, a 1:15.289. Daddy Tonk finished in ninth. That's E36 Goat to you and I when we see them out on track, hopefully later today. They were the last to finish, and a few DNFs from KKE, Jacobo, and Hommel there. And the story of the feature race was the huge number of penalties, some of the most we've ever had, I think, in a G-Force racing race, and that really did influence the finishing positions for a number of our drivers, but it was entertaining throughout. Well, what did that mean then for the championship? And this is all important. Emerge KDs leads the way on 151 points with just 3 races remaining. So I got my calculator out earlier. I believe if Emerge wins today, no pressure Emerge, but they will be Season 5 champion for G-Force Racing, though no one will be able to catch them in the last 2 races. Can Emerge win today, or will Liam Mag throw a spanner in the works, both figuratively and literally perhaps, if they win here today? Liam has been scoring points hand over fist since joining us about midway through Season 5, and 104 points they are on now, the closest challenger to Emerge KDs in their hope of a first ever championship crown here with G-Force Racing. M1 Righty, our double champion from Seasons 2 and 3, is in 3rd place on 99 points. Then comes Marcel on 91. SS7's not been having a bad season after picking up the pace after some unusually poor races from their standards earlier on in the season. They're running there in 5th on 84, and their teammate of Jakub Plotska, I should say, returns this week. Our champion from Season 4 is back with us, having recovered from illness recently. They're going to be back on the grid, which will give us some incredible drivers to watch, and probably some of the closest racing you will see. Very much looking forward to this, because Goat Ghosty is there as well. Certainly a potential future GFR champion. It hasn't quite come together for them in Season 5, but watch for them as we start Season 6. They're there on 73. Emil's had a pretty decent season on 72 points there. Then M. Dorling, who we haven't seen for a few weeks, but is back with us this week, running on 61 points at the moment. Jaguar Paul on 59, consistently scoring week after week. And Obo there on 58. We haven't seen Obo for a while, so we do wish Owen well. Hope he's okay, and hopefully we'll be able to rejoin us here with G-Force Racing in the not too distant future. Jacobo there on 46 points has done a very decent job of keeping the Mercedes team score ticking along very, very nicely, which I will show you right now. So whilst we may be able to decide the Drivers' Champion today, we will definitely not be able to decide the Constructors' Champion. So RB lead the way on 224 points, but only 12 points clear of Mercedes. Both Mercedes out today, as are both RBs, so it's all to play for that top spot in the Constructors' Championship. And don't count out Red Bull either, with plenty of points still left to play for. Red Bull are still in with a shout. David T is back again. This guy is an absolute legend. Thank you, David. The subscription is greatly, greatly appreciated, and good to have you back with us on the Twitch channel as well. Yeah, go well, Emerge. It's going to be tight because you've got some extra challenges out there with the returning Tom 1998. And you think, who's Tom 1998? Well, if you've been watching us here on M1 Racing for a couple of seasons or so, you may remember Tom 1998 from Season 4. They won on their debut in Belgium. They're back on the grid here for the first time in Season 5. We didn't think we would see them again, but we're delighted to have Tom back, and they can mix things up as well. Tom has had 3 podiums with GFR in Season 4. They're going to be one to watch out for, and they were the class of the field in Belgium in Season 4, so watch out for them. So Emerge knows Tom as well. Okay, so they'll keep you on your toes, that is for sure, as well as some of the other drivers who have their designs on a victory here today. So we could decide the Drivers' Championship, but we may not. Maybe it will go to the penultimate round when we head back to the US next week. So where are we going to be this week as we look to round out Season 5 of the G-Force Racing League? We are going to be in China. This was originally going to be round 2, but because of some game issues, we switched that around. So Bahrain moved to round 2, and round 10 is now China. We're heading out to the Shanghai International Circuit very, very shortly. Just waiting for the ready up. I think there's 1 or 2 more drivers to get into the lobby, and we'll be on our way out to China. the longest straight on the F1 calendar, over 1 kilometre long, that our drivers will be plunging down towards turn 14 with their DRS wide open. Look for some late overtakes into the hairpin at the end of that very, very long DRS zone. There, yeah, we're heading out to China, then the penultimate round in Vegas. I'm looking forward to Vegas under the lights next week. Has always given us some amazing racing. So we'll look forward to round 11 before we finish off season 5 in Austin. And that's where we'll hand out all the trophies from season 5. And we'll also say goodbye to F1 24. That will be our last G-Force Racing League race on the F1 24 game. And we'll all do it again on F1 25 once we've settled in with that one. Liam Mag, welcome to the Twitch chat and go well today as well, my friend. A huge haul of points over recent races. We'll see how you go in China. I know for some drivers this track is a little bit of a favourite, so we'll see how some get on. Others, not so much. It is really interesting track, and I think one of the better designed ones. Not everyone's going to agree with me on that, but it's probably got one of the best corners, turn 1 into turn 2, of any Formula 1 circuit I can think of. So we'll certainly be riding on board with a few drivers as they negotiate the early stages of a lap around the Shanghai International Circuit very, very soon. So that's going to close us out for season 5 here with G-Force Racing. If you are a first-time viewer here on M1 Racing, please do hit the follow button, or if you're watching the replay on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get to know when there's anything new to watch, or indeed when we are going live. And if you fancy taking part in G-Force Racing, perhaps come along to the last couple of rounds of Season 5 or grab yourself a seat for Season 6 when that gets underway. Hit the Discord link on my Twitch and YouTube channels. Head over there. Our league owner, SS7, will sort you out with a seat for next season. Or even come and join us in the Ironman, which will get back underway in when F1 25 is out. Or indeed come and join us for some of the Sunday friendlies, which I dare say will be aplenty over the coming weeks as we close out our time here on the game. So we're just waiting for the ready up. I'm keeping an eye on the drivers chat here. Yeah, so I think there's a few people with a couple of technical issues. I wonder if we may have lost someone from the lobby as well. KKE, I know, is having a few technical issues. Yeah, new lobby says emerged. So we're going to be heading out of this one and into a new one. So I'm going to put you folks on hold very, very briefly when I get into a new lobby, and we'll be back here in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a moment. And we are back, new lobby set up, and we are looking good to go. Welcome, KKE. Go well today, my friend. I know you're not best pleased with the decision of the FIA from last week, but I know you'll be ploughing through the field as we head round China, and you'll find out what that track is like. trying to negotiate all your fellow drivers in front of you, but go well today. We look forward to seeing where you can finish in the final standings here in China. So we are just waiting for the ready up here, folks. I think final few drivers getting themselves sorted. Welcome, Go. Have a great race today, my friend. Let's see if RB can extend that lead in the Constructors' Championship. Look over your shoulder, though. Mercedes are coming. Mercedes are coming. But we've lost Tom as well from the lobby, so Tom is trying to get back in now as well. Now, we spoke to Goat Ghosty at the end of last week's race, and they do like China, so we'll see how they go here today. I don't think Goat has had a victory here in Season 5 yet. They are probably due one. They were certainly on the cards for one last week in Imola. That weather, as you can see on your top right corner of your screen, folks, that's the replay from last week, and we're on board with Goat Ghosty at the moment. They had just had different pace to everyone else when it was wet, but the Liam Mag came right back into it in the second half of the race when it dried up. Goat is confident of their pace based on testing, so we'll see how that translates, and it looks like we are all readying up. So I will see you the other side of this as we head out for round 10 of the G-Force Racing Elite League in China. Don't go anywhere, folks. See you after this. On the inside of Cox, SS7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. All right, folks, let's go racing. Well, here we are, folks, in China. The sun is out, so it's going to be dry for qualifying, it would seem, which is very different to Imola from last week. And in recognition of the fact that we do have a few football fans that are both racing and watching along with us, I have got the PSG Arsenal live score up on the screen for you folks. If the match is anything like the Inter-Barcelona tie, that could be a good one too. So we'll keep you up to speed on what's happening in that key match in the Champions League, whilst we focus on what is going to be some pretty spectacular racing here with the G-Force Racing in round 10. So KKE, as I mentioned, did pick up a qualification ban for this week, so is just on an outlap to lock in their setup. They'll be heading into the pits after this one. Sadly for them, they'll be at the back of the grid, but watch for them to make their way through after a very strong second place finish in the sprint race last week. We welcome back Srivatsa to the G-Force Racing Elite League. Srivatsa has been with us in the Ironman for Season 2 of the Ironman. A very strong driver. Hasn't quite been able to hook it all together in some races, but they definitely have pace when it does come together. So it will be interesting to see how the Haas driver gets on around China. They were suggesting their lap time was in the 132s. I think pole was going to be around about 129, 130. So we'll see what Srivatsa can do. And as we're with Srivatsa, we may as well stay with them for their first flying lap. Every driver, pretty much, bar one or two, coming out onto track to set a time. Emerge KDs and Goat Ghosty getting their hot laps underway. We just have the one qualifying session here of 18 minutes. That's our drivers' time to get whatever they can in here. They can use as many tyres as they've got available to them and as much time, but once the 18 minutes is up, the fastest lap is going to be on pole position. Travazza will be hoping it is them in their Haas as they come round turn 14. Then through turn 16, and let's ride on board with Travazza for a hot lap around China here. Staying close to the wall to avoid the bumpy side of the circuit. Round turn 1. Keeps going turn 1, keeps going turn 1. There's turn 2. We dip down the hill into 3. Car will want to get away from us as we get our foot on the accelerator out of 4. 5 really doesn't count, just a little kink into 6. An open for taking opportunity, certainly on the opening laps and as we build into later stages of the race. Then we should be flat out round 7. Avoid that curb on the inside of 7, then 8. Want a tight line then into 9. Again, the curbs here ever so dangerous. Will throw your car around. 1:30.592 is the time for everyone to beat. Our championship leader is on provisional pole. Emerge KDs. Alongside their teammate of Ghosty, who's just under half a second slower than Emerge. So Emerge setting down a marker very early on. As Travazza gets on to this 1 kilometre straight, second DRS zone, dumping all the available battery that they have, heavy braking around the 100-metre board, into 14, huge chunk of curb, very aggressive line from Travazza, but that might well work out well for them. Then into through 16, avoid track limits on the exit, over the start-finish line, and Travazza gets a 1:31.490, just behind Mr. Hannes. Welcome back, Mr. Hannes. Driving for Williams with a 1:31.353, and Tom 1998 is back, driving for Alpine with a 1:31.143. It's tight at the top between Goat Ghosty and Tom 1998, but Emerge KD setting a very good start to their qualifying time. Let's get down to Jacobo's. Liam Mag goes fastest, 1:30.525. We told you to watch out for Liam. Liam is really the one driver who stands between Emerge and championship glory here today. Jacobo is on the board, 1:31.687 for them. And here we are with Emil in the Red Bull. Their season has been gradually getting better and better. Emil has grown back into the F124 game. Oh, as Emil decides to go straight on, interestingly. That's one route into the pits, Emil. Thank you for that one. Let's get down to Jaguar Paul then. We'll see how Jaguar Paul goes around here. We may as well bring up the tyres just in case any of our drivers have decided to go onto a weird tyre choice. No, they are just all on softs here. So Jaguar Paul trying to get their first time on the board. Still a handful of drivers yet to get a time locked in. M. Dorling, welcome to the Twitch chat. I've had a request from a few drivers for live football scores, so you know I'm always happy to please, and we've got live football for you as well. And if it keeps people watching the racing whilst keeping an eye on their favourite team, we're more than happy to accommodate. So Jaguar Paul negotiating the Shanghai International Circuit here, round the banked curve of 13. DRS will come over shortly. KK, Barcelona did go out, but they gave us one of the best Champions League matches I think I've ever seen. Well, certainly over 2 ties as well. That was just epic last night. So thank you to those. We've got an RB getting well out the way of Jaguar Paul as we come around the final corner. Jaguar Paul is going to get on the board here with a 1:31.676. That's full second back from Liam Mag, who is on provisional pole right now. Let me bring up the full track map, because we will start seeing drivers push a little bit harder now, and track limits may well come into play, particularly that last corner, turn 16. Yeah, and Liam Mag complaining in the Twitch chat, of course, they have no Ferrari teammate today, and that is a big disadvantage. For those teams who've got 2 drivers out there will be able to work together, take advantage of those DRS zones, to easily grab 2 or 3 more tenths, if not more, down that incredibly long straight. So the RB's probably in pole position to gain a much faster lap time here. Liam doing that 1:30.525 all on their own. Hrvatsa's on another out lap, as is Mr. Hannes, but we need to get down to our Season 4 champion, Jakub Plotska, who had a great start to Season 5 as well, looking to continue their strong form. We seem to have a stuck Mercedes. Is that E36 Go? I'm not sure. There's a stuck, sorry, not Mercedes, McLaren on the apex of turn 6, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Oh, it is, I think it is, yeah, E36 Go. I'm reading the driver's chat as well. Oh, and that was very sideways from Jakub Plotska, so Jakub will probably have to go again, unless that's the game just playing, having fun and games with us, but it does look as though Jakub will have pulled out of that. They have indeed, so Jakub will need to go again. So, Emerge KDs, let's get to Emerge, because they are going to start another hot lap in just a moment or two. SS7's got a time on the board, 1:31.428. They're provisional P6 at the moment, but it's Liam Mag fastest of anyone, followed by Emerge KDs, Ghosty their teammate in provisional P3, Tom in 4th, Mr. Hannes 5th, SS7 6th, Hrvatsa 7th, Jaguar Port 8th, and Jakub O in 9th. Emil, E36 Go, and Jakub Plotska yet set a time. We know KKE won't, and I'm pretty sure E36 Go won't either. So that McLaren would look to be going absolutely nowhere on the inside of turn 6. So here comes Emerge. Final corners for them. Their teammate of Goat Ghosty in front, who's offering the slipstream this time around. We'll watch to see who goes first. So it's going to be Emerge that's going to lead the way here. We will ride on board with their RB. So on the power, first DRS zone for us down the start-finish straight. You see our drivers hugging tight to the pit wall here, the less bumpy side of the circuit. Throwing this RB around. It's very stable though for Emerge through turn 1 and then 2. Now 3. This is where we get back on the power. Very tight line from Emerge. So they've got their RB set up very, very well here. Through 5. We're braking for 6, around 70 metres out. There's E36 Go as we glide through them. We'll see how much Emerge gets close to those curbs on the inside of 7. Looks to avoid those as much as they can. That was, yeah. And then 9 and 10. And now heading down towards 11. Now there's a brave driver who looks to overtake into here, but turn 11 is an overtaking opportunity. But we've got to get our exit right out of 12, because we're going to take all this speed around the bank curb, heading down towards turn 14. Such a long way, but a moment for our drivers to breathe as they look to ace the final corners of this lap into 14. Back on the power, almost as if the RB stalled there on the exit of 14 as the speed scrubbed off. And over the start-finish line, and Emerge does improve, but their teammate Goat Ghosty goes faster again, thanks to that slipstream from their teammate. So Goat Ghosty takes provisional pole with just 6 minutes of qualifying left to go. And I've got E36 Goat messaging me as well, just to say hi and that we can stop by the McLaren garage, because they are a spectator right now. They seem to be spectating from the inside of the circuit, but we know that is the game having a bit of a moment, having glitched for E36 Goat. So E36 and KKE are going to be starting at the back of this grid. At the moment, Emil is also going to be there unless they can get a lap on the board. They've got 5 and a bit minutes still to go. Let's ride on board with Emil. Let's see how the Red Bull can go around this track. And that's too wide from Emil, and they will have to set up and go again. And turn 1 can do that to you. Get that entry wrong, take too much speed, and you're off into the grass on the outside. And so Emil will need to do it all again. It's not working out for Emil. Let's get to Tom 1998, and I'll also bring up our sector times, top right corner of your screen, folks, so we can see if Tom is improving. They are definitely not at this point in time. So 3/4 of a second down on their previous lap. So Tom's 1:30.762 is the best they can do at the moment. I wonder if Tom may go back in if they're on a brand new set of softs. They may well save those. Yeah, indeed. Tom is on a brand new set of soft tyres. So Tom may well be heading back in. And everyone else is sitting in the pit lane, waiting for the moment, the right moment to do this. Tom does seem to be going backwards. So this may be a used set of soft tyres, actually, just to see if they get another sighter lap in before they go one more time. Wouldn't be surprised to see Tom head into the pits in just a moment. Yeah, so that is Tom's lap 1:30.762, provisional P5 for Tom. Has pushed Mr. Hannes down into P6. The 1:31 dead. Srivatsa in 7th. So Srivatsa improving from their earlier lap we saw, 1:31.390. SS7 there in 8th. But we're going to have the whole grid out in just a moment for one final blast around China. Drivers putting on a brand new set of tyres. Refueling, and we'll be heading out in the last few moments. So won't want to leave it too late because it's going to get very busy out on track. But there's a few who may be hoping to steal a slipstream from an opponent. As cars start to leave the garages here, I think those who get out earlier are going to make the right call. I don't think we'll see much in the way of track evolution like we do in the real world. So I think it's more about getting clear air on track so you're not disturbed. Jacobo is the first out in the other of the McLarens. Their teammate obviously sitting right at the back of the grid, unfortunately for them. And we can wave to E36 Goat on the way round, I expect. Everyone else leaving it very, very late. Oh, Goat Ghosty may be very happy with their time of 1:30.377. It's going to be tough to beat that, that's for sure, unless they're going to offer the same courtesy to their teammate of Emerge. Remember, folks, if Emerge wins here, they are going to be Season 5 champion. Liam Mag was looking to have something to say about that. Keep scoring more and more points for them and Ferrari. We'll see how Jacobo can go. Now, Jacobo has been driving as reserve for Mercedes throughout this season, whilst Jacob H has been recovering, but they have continued to stick with us here at GeForce Racing, which we are delighted about, because Jacobo has given us some brilliant racing this season. I hope they stick with GFR into Season 6, and we'll see how Jacobo can go. We know they're probably quicker than that 1:31.687 that they currently have. Just 2 minutes of qualifying to go, and our drivers will need to get over the start-finish line before time runs out in order for their next lap to count. So a number of nervous drivers trying to get round this circuit as quickly as they can. Let's ride on board with Jacobo for a flying lap here in China. Remember, 1:31.687 is their last time, and their target is at 1:30.377, currently set by Goat Ghosty on provisional pole. Through turn 2, then 3, little lock up into 3. Get tight line, just as we saw from Emerge on their last lap. Coming through 4 and 5. There's their teammate in front of them. Back on the power. Purple in sector 2. Sorry, sector 1 for Jacobo. It's a good lap so far. Tricky section of turn 9 and 10. We'll see drivers run out a little bit wide coming through 10. That'll be a track limits. Jacobo, though, is going fine here. Half a second up through sector 2. Back on the power. No slipstream for the McLaren here, so it's all going to be battery and set up as we head down towards turn 14. We'll brake around about 100 metres. whole bunch of the inside of turn 14 from Jacobo there, trying to shorten this circuit as much as they can. Through 16, DRS Open one last time, and it's a 130.939 from Jacobo, moves them up into provisional B6, but there are a multitude of other drivers out there. Let's get to Liam Mag. They have to improve if they want pole. They're a 10th up through Sector 1. Remember, Liam needs at least 2 tenths here to take pole position. A 10th and a half, I should say. And Liam is pretty much level with their last time. That was a little bit wild and very wild from Liam. Pushing very hard to get that time. That is not going to work for them. Ghosty went fastest briefly, but Emerge KDs takes the fastest lap with 130.160. Liam Mag is not going to come anywhere near to that now. Tom 1998, can they do anything about that time? They are slightly up just by 0.04 of a second. Now, a whole 10th of a second. But they've got a long way to go as there's cars pushing. That's the recovering Ferrari of Liam Mag getting back onto the circuit. So Tom 1998 has no slipstream to benefit from at all. There's Tom, comes round to complete their lap. Breaking into 14. Remember, they were improving. SS7 and Srivatsa have locked in their times to 131.148 and 131.351. What's Tom going to do as they come over the start-finish line? Marginally up. Just a merely second or so. 130.751 for Tom. Can Emil get a time on the board? We will find out in a moment because it didn't come up on the timing screen. 10th place for Emil. So it doesn't look as though they've been able to improve massively or get a time. So the two RBs are on the front row. Emerge KDs, 130.160, followed by Goat Ghosty, their teammate, 130.305. Then comes Liam Mag alongside Season 4 champion Jakub Lozga. The battle of the champions at the front for sure. Mr. Hannes alongside Tom 1998. Then comes Jacobo alongside SS7, teammates for recent weeks, now in separate teams. Then Srivatsa alongside Emil. Emil did get a time, 131.392 for them. Then Jaguar Paul, and we've got E36 Go and KKE at the back of this grid. So 13 drivers out there for us, still 0-0 in the football as well. So Arsenal will need to get a goal if they want to take that to extra time. And it's looking a little bit more overcast here. I'll see if I haven't got any weather data here, but it has been known to rain in China. It's not all hot here in Shanghai. We'll keep an eye on that. Rain coming in the second half of the race, says Mr. Hannes. Thank you very much, Mr. Hannes. That's great insight. And yes, Mr. Hannes, you did beat Tom. You've got some pace here, my friend. So welcome back. And let's see if you can convert that into some good points here today. Very good qualifying from you here. That is for sure. So we're waiting for our drivers just to get out there on the grid. We don't have a formation lap here in GeForce Racing. So once you see the drivers lined up, you'll see 5 red lights come on. And when they go out, we are going to be racing. As we know, we need to look out for rain in the second half of this race. Quite how heavy it will be. It's come up on my screen now. So yeah, rain, light rain in the latter stages of the race. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing with the GeForce Racing League. Round 10 from China, and it's a very good start from Emerge KDs. Looks as though Ghosty bogged down as they try to get away from the line. And Jakub Lozga's had a brilliant start, straight up into second, followed by Liam Mag, and Mr. Hannes already up into fourth. As we come round 3 and then into 4, Emerge KDs holds on to the lead of this race. But Jakub H has had a brilliant start here and immediately on to the rear end of our championship leader, followed by Liam Mag, Mr. Hannes. Ghosty now down there in 5th, and Jakub H is trying to go the long way round. Emerge KDs wheel to wheel as we go through turn 8, and Jakub H comes out in front. So obviously both drivers on different tyre strategies here. So Jakob H on the medium tyres, a lot more grip than the RB of Emerge KDs, has been able to make that early gains into the lead of this race and will now want to get away from Emerge KDs as quickly as possible. They'll be hoping that Liam Mag fights with Emerge a little bit here, as will Mr. Hannes be after. They're seeking a very good result here, so great start for Mr. Hannes. Ghosty has managed to slot in behind Mr. Hannes in the Williams. Then Tom 1998 in 6th. Jakob O in 7th. SS7 there in 8th. So not much has changed. Jaguar Paul, though, has seemed to have lost out of that start and is all the way back there in 13th. So a lot of would have happened through turn 1 as drivers on cold tyres try and hang on as Ghosty goes wide. And we will have to talk about track limits at some point. And that is Tom 1998, right on the very different line coming down the start-finish straight. DRS now enabled. And we'll see as Mr. Hannes tries to make a way through on Liam Mag. So no respect shown from last week's race winner. Oh, is that Liam moving Mr. Hannes into the gravel? I'm not quite sure there. So coming together between the Ferrari and the Williams for sure. Mr. Hannes has rejoined in 3rd, but has picked up a penalty in the process. They have let Liam back through, and Ghosty has come through as well. So we'll perhaps review that one after the race, but a coming together between the Williams and the Ferrari means Mr. Hannes has picked up a warning, and that may well get rescinded after the race, folks. We'll see. We won't read too much into those, but we'll call it as we see it on screen right now. And how we call it right now is that Jakob Loska is already outside the range of DRS on lap 2, over a second clear of Emerge KDs. So Emerge will hope that those hard tyres will come back into play later on in the race. But Jakob H has got some good early pace and is stretching, or doing their best to stretch away from the RBs of Emerge KDs and Ghosty, who's come back through now into 3rd. We'll be hoping that Liam and Mr. Hannes didn't pick up any damage from that contact, and it looks as though most bits and pieces are still on those cars, and that's a very wide Emil it was looking like in the background there. So track limits warning already for Emil, I dare say, and there'll be a few more of those before this race is done. That is Mr. Hannes looking down the inside of Liam once again. So Mr. Hannes has a much faster line through turn 1, but Liam Mag manages to hold on to 4th place this time. Is he going to go down the inside and lock up? Mr. Hannes saw that as a bit of a late move, and as a result, fortunately for them, ghosted and didn't take out the Ferrari in the process. But it did look like a late move from Mr. Hannes. They've all come out of that largely unscathed, it would seem. Jakob O is on the rear end of Mr. Hannes now, with Tom 1998 behind them, and SS7 is there in this DRS train, which runs all the way down to Emil now in 9th. KKE dropping off the back of that by 1.5 seconds. They're pulling along Srivatsa, and Jaguar Paw trying to recover. They're bringing E36 Goat with them. So rain due in about 15 minutes according to my timing screen, and it gets heavy later towards the very end of this race, folks, so don't go anywhere. This could be all decided on the final laps of this race. We're on lap 3 of 28, plenty of time yet to see how round 10 is going to play out. Jakob Loska is starting to stretch away, just a tenth or so per lap from Ghosty and Emerge KDs. How much of an advantage can they gain? These mediums will go well for quite a few laps here, and I think our driver's just trying to guess when that rain is going to be coming. They do not want a pit stop before that rain arrives. They want to use the rain as their pit window. So we'll see when that does actually materialise. So my timing screen is showing 15 minutes into the race. So we're probably about 10 minutes or so away from that arriving. But we do have a train of cars from Ghosty all the way down to Emil in 9th. All sitting in the DRS. We'll bring up the tyres just for the benefit of everyone watching along. So the majority of drivers out there on hards, except for Jakob H, Mr. Hannes and Jacobo all on mediums, and they're doing their best to make those count. It's certainly allowing Mr. Hannes to be very competitive with Liam, Emerge and Goat Ghosty. They're hanging on to 5th place right now. And Jacobo behind them following along. Many of our drivers appearing to feel quite comfortable just sitting in the train, not really looking to move forward, except as I say that, Emerge and Liam Mag move through on Goat Ghosty. I think Goat would be happy to let them go at this stage in the race. Emerge hanging on to 2nd place, but a long way to go. So our drivers thinking strategically here about how the race is going to play out as they move to the right-hand side of the circuit. You see all the dust that kicks up. 1-0 to PSG, folks. So not looking good for Arsenal right now. 2 goals required for them, but plenty of time left in that match, and plenty of time left in this race. Now, Mr. Hannes is trying to make a move through on Goat Ghosty. Have they made that one work? I think they have. So Mr. Hannes comes through on Goat Ghosty. Lots of tyre smoke from multiple cars coming through turn 6. And Mr. Hannes holding on to 4th place. We're looking ahead to Liam Mag. Goat Ghosty biding their time here. And there's no need for any crazy manoeuvres as Mr. Hannes goes very wide. And the back end steps out on the Williams as well. Goat Ghosty has nowhere to go but tap the rear end. That's compromised them as we head towards turn 10. I should say 11. That has allowed Tom 1998 to come through on Goat Ghosty. So we were on board for that, and that was just an unfortunate sequence of events for Goat. But they will have the opportunity to come back now, as long as they can stay in this DRS train. Jakob H now 2.3 seconds clear as Liam Mag moves up into 2nd place. SS7 is there now looking to make a move on Goat Ghosty. Goat seems to be moving backwards at this point in time, but it's a very wide Mr. Hannes through turn 16. That will be another track limit warning. SS7 has now got 2 warnings. Jacobo's got 2 warnings. I think Mr. Hannes has got 2. No, they've got 4 now, I should say. So they're starting to stack up for these drivers. We're going to wheel all over the place here in China. But it is allowing Liam and Emerge KDs to get away from this squabbling bunch of cars from Tom 1998 down to Emil. So Liam Mag and Emerge now trying to break away from this group of cars. And Liam is attempting to close down on Jakob H. So maybe the medium's starting to go off. We'll give you a sense of lap time. So last time around, Jakob H set a 135.012, Liam a 135.025. So the hards and the mediums setting pretty even times now. We might be getting closer to that crossover point where the mediums will be starting to go away, unless Jakob H is starting to conserve a little. But it does look as though Liam Mag starting to close that gap down. We're under 2 seconds here on lap 6. And of course, many of these drivers will look to work together as Mr. Hannes defends into turn 14. That's going to force Goat Ghosty round the long way. We bang wheels as we come out of 15. And Tom is up into 4th place now. So drivers changing positions all over the place. Is Goat going to go down the inside of Mr. Hannes into turn 1? Mr. Hannes will have to go the long way round turn 1. Tom 1998 on the outside of Goat Ghosty. Tom will have the inside for turn 3. Who's got the better acceleration out of 3 and 4? Goat now has the better line into 5 as we head down towards 6. Big lock up from the Alpine of Tom 1998, trying to avoid the rear end of the Williams of Mr. Hannes. That's allowing SS7 to get a sniff of an extra position here. SS7 now running in 7th. And switching places with Jacobo all the time. What great racing we've got going on here. Between 5 or 6 drivers. We can go wheel to wheel through 9 and 10. Between Tom 98 and Goat Ghosty. So brilliant stuff here. Mr. Hannes now up into 4th. Will we stick Wheel to wheel through here. SS7 has sniffed an opportunity to come through and join in the action. But it's Tom 1998 that holds on, but it is allowing those drivers in front to get away. 2.2 seconds between Jakob H and Emerge KDs and Liam Mag. Then 4 seconds now. Mr. Hannes back from Liam Mag. So this scrapping here as we go 3 wide into turn 14. Not quite. Ghosty goes very tight on turn 14. Back end of Mr. Hannes in the Williams stepping out. And maybe these medium tyres for Mr. Hannes creating a bit of a cork in the bottle, and it's only going to be a matter of time, I think, before Tom 1998 gets through. Indeed they do. Goat is going to go with them. SS7 trying to find a way through. Will they go the long way round on Mr. Hannes? Mr. Hannes defending for all that they can, and I think that spots of rain. Is the rain on its way? The rain is here, folks, on lap 8. And so the medium runners probably got this about right in terms of tyre strategy. Certainly Jakob H is going to luck out. It depends now, when is the time to pit? How quickly is it going to get wet? There'll be a lap or so at this rate, but the rain does look to be getting heavier and heavier. Well, Mr. Hannes is really struggling here, so I wonder if they've got a low downforce setup. They've lost the grip entirely in that Williams and is starting to head backwards. SS7 will be hoping to get through on the Williams before it holds them up too much. They need to get through on Mr. Hannes and rejoin the back end of Goat Ghosty and Tom 1998 to give them some good opportunities of a good scoring position. We're on the battery. We've got the DRS open. DRS is still enabled here. Mr. Hannes still has DRS. SS7 tries to go the long way. The back end of the Mercedes not happy in these slippery conditions. That's allowing Emil, where did you come from? In the Red Bull as Mr. Hannes pits. They're the first to get in. No, I apologise. Jakub Plotska is in as well. A race leader in as well. And they'll be getting onto intermediate tyres to start lap 9. SS7, Emil sticking it out there, as is Emerge and Liam Mag and Goat Ghosty and Tom 1998. Oh, that's Emil hanging on as best they can to that Red Bull. These hard tyres will feel horrible as this lap gets wetter and wetter. And the rain looks as though it's going to get very, very intense before the end of this race. So it's only going to get wetter. So will we even see full wet tyres on any of these cars come the end of this race? If my forecast is to be believed, I think we may. So SS7 has not found a way past. I think DRS is still enabled, so the steward's still thinking it's safe enough. SS7 hoping to get through on Emil now. Emil seems to have some decent pace. They are closing in on Tom 1998, trying to get within that 1 second. 3 second time penalty for E36 Goat. They won't be the last to get one of those as SS7 moves through up into 5th place. And now all within a second of each other from Tom 1998 down to Emil. Then a bit of a gap back to Jaguar Paul running in 7th currently. And then E36 Goat in 8th. But we've then got our intermediate tyre runners of Jakob H, Mr. Hannes, Jakob O, KKE and Srivatsa. Now, have Jakob H and Mr. Hannes gone too early, I wonder? Keep an eye on the lap times, folks, and I will do the best to do the same on my timing screen here. Last lap from Liam was a 1:37.290. Liam leading this race on lap 10. Our intermediate runners yet to get some times on the board, but now they come in as Jaguar Paul and E36 Goat are now pitting. We'll see how those times compare. We obviously can't take the first lap because that would have included the exit from the pit lane. So we'll see how much faster they can go as SS7 struggling to hang on to their car here in these increasingly slippery positions. That has let Emil back through. I wonder if those intermediate tyres have gone a little, runners have gone a little bit too early. This track does not look wet enough yet to be on intermediate tyres. They'll certainly have some grip early on, but they will burn out massively for those drivers. Liam leads the way from Emerge KDs, a half second behind. Then Tom 1998. DRS still enabled as far as I can tell. Yep, no, DRS is still there as we brake heavily in these wet conditions into turn 14. Emerge KDs is very, very close to Liam Mag, and they're going to take the lead of this race on lap 11. Indeed, they do. Through on through on Liam Mag, but Liam comes back through on the inside. They're going to have to be very careful for these tight corners here. Emerge hanging on to the lead. Liam decides better of that, tucks back in behind the RB. 3 seconds back from them is Tom 1998, who's bringing Ghosty with them. So we're starting to get some intermediate tyre times coming in. 1:38.869 was Jakob H's time, and that is a second faster than Emerge KD's did last lap around. So Inters are definitely quicker at this point, but not hugely quicker. And that could be telling. Jakob H will close the gap, that's for sure. But it really does not look wet enough yet for intermediate tyres to have a huge advantage. Drivers may have a different perspective from their own cockpits, and maybe that rain is starting to get a bit heavier. We can see it landing on the track now, so this may be the time. We'll see. DRS is still enabled. Yeah, DRS still enabled. We can see that on Liam's Ferrari there, so still plenty dry enough, and those who are staying out on those hard tyres will be in the box seat come the latter stages of this race, I think, particularly as that rain gets heavier. These intermediate tyres are going to be burning out at a rate of knots. Let's get to one of those intermediate runners of Jakob H. SS7 has decided they've had enough. They're on to intermediate tyres here. So Jakob H is going to inherit the lead once everyone else does pit. It's, well, how much pace will they eventually have? Liam Mag has stayed out for another lap. That gap is now coming down much more quickly. Jakob H's tyres, 21% already after just 3 laps. So these Inters are under a lot of pressure. Jakob H has got to hang on to those for a long while if they don't want another pit stop. So these tyres burning out quite quickly, it would seem, if my telemetry screen is to be believed, though, folks. So take that with a pinch of salt. Jakob H pushing hard, obviously, waiting for more of that rain to come. But they are now much quicker than those in front of them. We can see the gap coming down to about 8 seconds already. Yeah, it's coming down for almost 2/10 a corner, it would seem. So intermediate tyres are now the tyre to be on, it would seem. Emerge KDs is onto intermediates. It has allowed them to pretty much hold on to second place here on track, but they are 7 seconds back from Jakob H. So Jakob H doing well, but we'll see how their tyre wear goes as the laps continue to go down. Mr. Hannes has been out there 3 laps on their intermediate tyres as well. As has Jakob O. So it's all mixed up right now as our front runners are Liam Mag, Tom 1998 and now Emil come into pit lane to get on to their intermediate tyres, unless anyone's going to be brave enough to go on to full wets. Now Emil has gone on to full wets, so here's the gamble from Emil. Do they know it's going to get super heavy here? That could be a blinding decision by Emil, or they could live to regret that massively and we'll need to pit one more time. There will be a dry line created by the cars circulating on track. 10-second penalty for Jaguar. It's not been a good day for Jaguar, sadly for them. Speeding in the pit lane for the Williams driver, and that's put them at the back of the grid as well. And those 10 seconds will be added on to their race time at the end of this race. So it's not looking great for Jaguar. It's still a long way to go. We are just approaching half distance. We're not quite there yet. we're with Mr. Hannes as they are chasing after SS7. SS7 has done well on that first stint, and they've moved up solidly into 4th place now and are on the rear end of Liam Mag. So well played from SS7 so far after starting reasonably far down the grid. As everyone has now pitted, let's take a look at winners and losers before we look at penalties. So Jakob H up 3 after a very, very good start, and only just now DRS is disabled. So it is going to get much wetter out on track here. So Jakob H up 3, emerged just down the 1. Liam Mag where they started the race. SS7, as I mentioned, great drive from them so far, up 4 places. Goat down 3. Hannes, Tom and Jakob O down 1. Emil up 1. KKE up 2. Travatsa down 2. And E36 Goat up 1. Jaguar Paul down 2. And also carrying that 10-second penalty. As far as penalties are concerned, 10 seconds for Mr. Hannes speeding in the pit lane, and 10 seconds for Jaguar Paul for the same. And E36 Goat has got 3 seconds for track limits. We may get 1 or 2 more of those before today's race is out. So SS7 has dropped out of the toe of Liam Mag and is now under pressure from Goat Ghosty. On lap 14 here, we ride on board with Goat Ghosty, and now it looks a lot wetter out on track. That rain getting heavier by the moment, and it's only going to get heavier still as we proceed into the second half of this race. Jakob H is looking strong right now on their return to Season 5. They're certainly out of the championship race at this stage in terms of taking a second victory, second crown here in Season 5 after a very good season for them in Season 4. But they could well influence where the Season 5 title eventually goes to. Emerge KDs, though, is doing enough right now, I believe, still to take victory and the championship. As Goat Ghosty looks down the inside of SS7 into turn 14. SS7 doing their best to defend, but Goat will have the inside line for 14, and they come through on the Mercedes to move up into 4th place. SS7 has given that one up and tucks back in behind the RB. Can both of these now chase after Liam Mag and Emerge KDs in front? Again, all our drivers staying close to the pit wall as they come down the start-finish straight through that first DRS zone. The back end of the RB dancing around as it enters turn 1 at high speed. SS7 going with them, and Tom 1998 has joined SS7 and Goat Ghosty here in 6th place. Jacobo is much further back there, 4 seconds back in 7th. Then we get down to the wet tyre runner of Emil. Let's take a look at Emil's lap times now that they've been on those wet tyres for a couple of laps. So Emil running in 8th at the moment. Their last lap at 1:44.475. It's much slower than the intermediates are running at the moment. So wet tyres not quite right for these conditions just yet. But if it gets wetter much quicker, Emil will leapfrog the field with everyone else having to pit. We'll see how many wish to stay out on inters if it does get super wet. But you can see the driving rain now here in China. Not the sunny day it was in qualifying. It's got a lot wetter. And it's going to make it very interesting for us as Tom 1998 is now moving up on SS7. So SS7 is losing 2 places in 2 laps here. SS7 dropping back into 6th as Tom moves back through into 5th place, and they will want to get after Goat Ghosty in front of them. Now Liam Mag is gradually closing in on Emerge KDs. Jakob H is all the way out there on their own and having a very good race, it has to be said, so far. And Liam getting closer to the RB, nearly within a second. Obviously no DRS now, so overtaking got to be done on battery and driving ability alone. Now the lap times are getting closer and closer to the wet tyre runners, so it is clearly getting much wetter out there. Will this bring Emil back into play? So Emil's last lap was a 1:45.3. Yeah, and still not quite wet tyre weather, but a long way off the fastest lap of this race, which was set by Jakob H with a 1:34.335, very much early on in this race. I wonder if any other drivers are now thinking about another pit stop as this rain gets ever heavier. That was a wide running Liam Mag through turn 12 into 13. So it's definitely getting slippier out there for our drivers, and it's really going to focus their attentions as we get further into this race. I'm intrigued by the tyre wear on Jakob Losker's Mercedes here. They were the first to get onto intermediate tyres. But if my telemetry screen is anything to go by, folks, they're on 58% already. There's no way they'll take those inters to the end without some incredible tyre whispering from the Mercedes driver and Season 4 champion. We will see, but maybe Emerge and Liam may come back into play here as those intermediate tyres start to go off further. But all of our runners will be pushing those intermediate tyres right now on an increasingly damper track. It's going to get harder and harder to stop as we head into some of these tight corners here. So Liam Mag is now within a second of Emerge KD. So Liam is coming to terms with these wetter conditions better than Emerge is. And you're absolutely right, M. Dorling. Goat is catching them. It's going to get, I think this is well beyond done here. Oh, we've got another 12 laps to go. And Jakob H has lost nearly a whole second in that last lap. So Jakob H is starting to go backwards into the clutches of Emerge KDs and Liam Mag. Did they go too early on those intermediate tyres? It would certainly seem to suggest that they did. So Liam Mag, are they going to make a move through on Emerge KDs here? Will they slip outside the slipstream? Emerge goes to the inside to defend, so Liam Mag looks to go around the outside. Doesn't mean Emerge holds on to the inside. Will they get a better exit? Cameraman hasn't quite picked up both cars. They have now, and Liam Mag moves into second place through on Emerge KD. So can they now, and that's Jakob H into the pits. That is, Jakob H has got off of those intermediate tyres. They've definitely had enough. They were going. So we'll look to see what Jakob H goes back onto. Do they go to full wets now? No, new inters for Jakob H. So they're going to try and take those to the end of the race. I have no tyre data for Liam Mag, so we can only assume it was only about 8 or 9 laps for Jakob H. Remember, they did many of the early ones on a relatively dry track for them. And Emil has switched off to inters. Thank you, M. Dorling. So yeah, Emil has switched on to new inters. SS7 going on to new inters. So all of those drivers who switched reasonably early, and we've got a yellow flag. Is that a DNF? That's Mr. Hanners giving up on us in the pit lane for Williams. So we'll get no safety car for that, but we have lost Mr. Hanners. So our first DNF from China. Very different to our first ever visit to China. We've actually only ever been here in G-Force Racing once, and that was in Season 1. It was 2 years ago, would you believe, folks, on the F1 23 games. That was the last time G-Force Racing came to China. We had a bit of a false start that day as well, with some interlopers, some gate crashes to the league. So we had a bit of a restart on the race, but it was SHS Predestinato's debut victory with G-Force Racing on their way to winning Season 1 of the G-Force Racing Elite League. Spicy Nuts, would you believe, was second. Spicy, if you're watching along or watching the replay at some point, we hope you're doing well. Spicy Nuts was second here in China in Season 1. J Repo was third, and SS7 came home in fourth. SS7, hoping for a similar outcome here today, has got on to brand new soft tyres, along with their teammate of Jakob H. As more drivers pit, Emerge KDs, Liam Mag, our front runners, are into the pit. So that moves Goat Ghosty and Tom 1998 into the lead of this race, with this lap and 9 more to go. The Inters of Tom 1998 are on 36%, I believe. So it's is that Goat Ghosty? I think that's I'm getting Goat Ghosty's telemetry. So Goat may well be able to take these to the end, and that puts Goat Ghosty in the prime spot to take victory here. It all depends how quick Emerge and Liam Mag will be on brand new tyres. So keep an eye on the timing screens, folks, as we see if Emerge and Liam Mag can close in. SS7 on brand new Inters, actually indeed the rest of the grid, other than Jaguar Paw, who pitted a little bit earlier than everyone else, is on brand new intermediates. So we'll see what that does to lap times. But Tom 1998 is pressurising Ghosty here, and maybe these two might work together. They'll know that they haven't pitted. They won't want to pit now. They'll look to hold on to track position, I expect, to see if one of these two can take victory here. So they might work together using their slipstream to try and get or stay clear of Jakob H, Liam Mag, Emerge KDs, who are running 3rd, 4th and 5th. So the gap from Tom 1998 to Jakob H, 12 seconds. That will come down. It's how quickly they're going to need to do more than a second a lap, Jakob H and Liam Mag, to get anywhere close to these two. So right now, Goat Ghosty is in the box seat and could take their first victory, if I've got my stats correct, of Season 5. You can see how much heavier the rain has got here in China. There's a definite spray now coming off of these cars down that start-finish straight. Who's going to risk going on to brand new wet tyres, I wonder, for the final stages here? It is so much wetter out on track. At least if everyone's on intermediate tyres, it's a bit of a leveller. But I wonder who may take the gamble and get onto wet tyres. It could easily be 2 to 3 seconds a lap quicker here in China with so much more grip. So it might be worth the gamble. But if you're going to do it, you probably need to be thinking about it around about now. So Goat Ghosty still out in front. Jakob H has made up a second already on our front two, but they're going to keep needing to close down that gap at a similar pace. Tom 1998 is right behind them as I wait for my telemetry screen to refresh. I'm only getting limited tyre data from some of our runners here, so I'm not going to read too much into that now. We'll just judge it on the lap times here. So yeah, definitely Jakob H is picking up a good second or so a lap. The last laps for these folks, 145.403 for Goat Ghosty, 143.36. So that's 2 seconds a lap faster for Jakob H at the moment. Those brand new intermediate tyres working very, very well. Is it going to be enough laps? Does Jakob H have enough to get back into the lead of this race? Of course, got to get up to this group of two and then get past. That's a big ask with few laps remaining. So Tom 1998 on their return to GeForce Racing in Season 5, giving a very good account of themselves around here in China. Let's get down to the rear end of the grid, give our drivers down here some air time. So we've got Jacobo following behind Emil. Emil is not afraid of wet weather conditions at all. Jacobo goes wide, gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warning. So Emil will not have to worry about fighting Jacobo. And Emil knows how to navigate a wet track, and they're doing a pretty decent job here in 7th. Jacobo doing their best to hang on to the coattails of Emil. Then comes Jaguar Paw running in the points here. So if they can take that Williams to the end, it will be more points at least for them, but not their best day. We've seen Jaguar Paw have better drives for sure. Srivatsa in the last points paying position for Haas. We've not spent much time with Srivatsa since seeing them in qualifying, but they're running in 10th. And KKE, after having to start at the back of the grid, is in 11th and now looking to move up into the points past Srivatsa. Let's stay with KKE for a moment, as we do have a battle brewing here on lap 21 between the Red Bull and the Haas. As we come round turn 7 and then 8, getting increasingly difficult to keep our cars on track. Then through 9, tiptoeing KKE in his Red Bull round turn 10. We'll head up to turn 11. That's dropped KKE back just a touch from Srivatsa after they were getting very close to the rear end of the Haas. And you'll see our drivers desperately searching for grip on the exit of turn 12 at the back end of the Red Bull, stepping out once again as KKE desperately tries to get after Srivatsa in front of them. They lost a couple of tenths there, and using some of our battery to get after the Haas in front of them. But Srivatsa doing a grand job of holding on to 10th place. We then get down to E36 Go. A pretty lonely race for them, 4 seconds back from KKE, but still going there in 12th, and hopefully with still a connection. They'll be hoping for 1 or 2 more DNFs in front of them, perhaps sneak in back into the points. And I think that would sadly feel. Speaking of which, we get a yellow flag, and that is the Red Bull of KKE on the exit of turn 16 into the wall. They are still going. No safety car, and looks like no damage for the Red Bull. So it looks as though KKE has escaped unharmed there. But it has dropped them to the rear of the field and has promoted E36 Go by a place. We have to return to the front on lap 22. Goat Ghosty continues to lead from Tom 1998. 6 tenths between the two of these. But Jakob H is coming. That gap now down to 5 seconds and closing all the time. Welcome back, David C. Yeah, it's all been happening here as the rain came down. Various different tyre strategies at play. Emil tried the full wet strategy, wasn't wet enough for that. Jakob H went early onto intermediate tyres when it's probably a bit too dry, so they've had to pit again. Goat Ghosty is nursing those intermediate tyres, hopefully to the end of the race from their perspective, but they'll be starting to feel pretty horrible. Jakob H closing all the time on Tom 1998, but we've only got 5 more laps after this one to go, and Jakob H has got 5 more seconds to make up before they can even attempt to get past. There's just about time to make that happen. We could have a grandstand finish here, and I can tell you the intermediate tyres of Goat Ghosty and Tom 1998 are going to feel absolutely shocking when they're 14-15 laps old. And if my timing screen is to be believed, those inters are probably on about 65%, so they will not be looking pretty on lap 23. Jakob H, though, is closing at a rate of knots now. So nothing happened, David T, to Jakob H, as we do get another DNF. That is KKE. They sadly leave us on lap 23. And E36 Go, as I mentioned, is now in the points, thanks to Jaguar Paul pitting. But Jaguar Paul is going to be out on some brand new tyres. And KKE, welcome back to the Twitch chat, KKE. Yes, the weather is not kind around here. And you felt the full force of it. Very, very wet. Out there indeed, but Jakob H closing all the time, and I think this gap is going to be done well before lap 28 arrives, and we're going to have some desperate defending from the RB and the Alpine in front as Jakob H looks to return to winning ways on their return to G-Force Racing. Emerge KD is our championship leader all the way down there in 5th, and more crucially, Liam Mag is in front of them, so Liam needs to finish in front of of Emerge KDs if we don't want to have the Drivers' Championship decided here today. So Liam is in front of Emerge. We'll make a very small dent. It's probably all done by the shouting in the Drivers' Championship, but this will take it at least one more round, I believe, until that's mathematically done. KKE says they nearly fell asleep. So, I think my eyes would be on stalks driving around here today. 2 seconds the gap now from Jakob H. Let's jump on board with Jakob H as they close down on Tom 1998. Visually, that's a huge boost for the chasing driver if you start to see that gap closing down. And that's definitely the feeling Jakob H will have now. 1.5 seconds. You can see how quickly they are closing. This may not even be a difficult pass for Jakob H. It all depends how strong Tom and Goat Ghosty really want to defend here. Jakob H won't want to throw away all their hard work. Liam Mag is a little bit further back. But Emerge KD's trying to close down as best they can. Emerge, though, not lapping as fast as Jakob or Liam Mag in front of them. So they are gradually going to creep up on the front four. But I don't think they have the pace to trouble Liam and Jakob Plotke here today. SS7, a long way back now in 6th, but still running in 6th. And then there's 7 seconds before we get to Emil. So here we go. We've got a 4-way fight for the lead of this race on lap 25. Liam Mag will be joining this crew very, very shortly to make it 4. So Ghosty is in the lead. Tom 1998 just behind them. Then comes Jakob Plotke, having worked super hard to get on the rear end of the Alpine. Will they go round the outside into turn 6? It looks as though they will. Well and truly passed on Tom into turn 6. So much more grip. That 7-lap delta on those tyres is paying real dividends. And here they come on the rear end of Ghosty. Goat really struggling for grip now. Will open the door for Liam to come through. Jakob has to get out of the throttle coming out of 10. Looking at a brave move down the inside. They bang wheels on the way into turn 11. So much more grip for the Mercedes. And it looks as though we're going the long way around 12 and then 13. Do they both come out alive? They do. And Jakob Plotke takes the lead on lap 5. Through on Ghosty, through on Tom 1998. Can Liam Mag do the same? Although Ghosty challenging back on Jakob Plotke. So Ghosty is through, defends into turn 14, very sideways into 14. Jakob H has to go the long way round to 14. This battling is allowed. Liam Mag is through on Tom 1998 now. Great wheel-to-wheel stuff, and Ghosty taps the side or goes into the side of Jakob H. That's allowed Tom 1998 through now. Tom's going to go all the way through into the lead of this race. Ghosty wants to go around the outside of Jakob Plotke here. So Tom back in the lead. Jakob Plotke with a much tighter line and more grip through turn 1 and 2. Tom 1998 not giving that up though. Ghosty is still there. Liam Mag is still there. Trying to find a way through on everyone. So Liam Mag trying to go round the outside of Ghosty. Tries to cut in tight. The rear wheel of the Ferrari touches the front end of Ghosty, but they come out alive once again. Liam Mag through now on Tom 1998. And those 13, 14 laps on those intermediates. A real struggle now. Can Liam do anything about Jakob Plotke in front of them? Can Liam take victory here again with G-Force Racing? They're putting a big gap of points between them and Emerge KDs. Emerge down there in 5th, but has got, or is getting closer to Ghosty. So will Goat give a place to Emerge KDs, I wonder? And at least enable them to add further points and greater chance of securing that championship next time out. But Liam Mag doesn't seem to be able to get onto the rear end of Jakob Plotke, so Jakob will need to be careful they don't make a mistake. Ghosty and Tom 1998 battle it out into turn 14. Ghosty comes out side by side with Tom. Will not do the same into turn 16. Has to drop back in, but this has allowed Emerge KDs to come through. And I may need to do my maths very, very quickly, unless David T is watching along and can tell me what the result will be if Liam Mag does finish in front of Emerge KDs. I think still Liam just needs to finish in front, and it will mean the championship is not done today, but it won't be far off being done, that is for sure. But right now there's 2 other cars between Liam Mag and Emerge KDs, so Liam going to get plenty more points than the other RB driver, but it's looking like a very good day in the championship for Mercedes as well, with Jakob Plotke leading the way. SS7 running there in 6th. It's going to be nip and tuck in the Constructors' Championship all the way down to the very last race of the season. SS7 is not going to improve on that 6th place for sure, but Liam is looking to try and take some more points away from Jakob Plotke. 1.7 seconds the gap. We're on the penultimate lap of the Chinese Grand Prix here. And Goat Ghosty and Emerge KD's through on Tom 1998, and I think Emerge is going to get through on their teammate of Goat Ghosty in no time at all. Goat will not fight their teammate here, I am sure, particularly on those very, very old intermediate tyres. And indeed, they come through, and a little wiggle of the steering wheel from Emerge KD's is a thank you to their teammate as Emerge comes through. Up into third place, still going to be a good result for Team RB and Emerge KD's here. But we will at least have one more race. Thank you, David T. So, Liam, Emerge would need to outscore Liam by 4 points here to be victorious in the championship. It doesn't look as though that's going to happen, barring some kind of horrible accident or mistake from Liam. They are a good distance up the road from the RB. So Jakub Oloska leads on their return to G-Force Racing, the last lap here in China. And it's great to have Jakub H back. And what would have happened in the championship, I wonder, if Jakub H had not missed so many races in the midpoint of Season 5. We will never truly know. But Jakub H is back with a bang. Liam Mag keeping them honest. They are still only a second and a bit back. A sideways Ferrari as they come through turn 8. And they're pushing as hard as they dare in these very slippery conditions. The rain got super heavy midway through this race, and it's still raining here. But our drivers have definitely created more of a dry line, and the skills of these front runners really showing here in China. A brilliant drive from Jakub Oloska. Liam Mag there in second. Emerge KD is definitely dropping off the back here, but through on their teammate of Goat Ghost. He's also dropped back. Goat is still being kept honest by Tom 1998 and SS7 closing down on those, but they're 7 and a bit seconds back, so 6th place is going to go SS7's way. But first place here in China is our returning Season 4 champion, Jakub Oloska. Congratulations, Jakub. Congratulations, Mercedes. Another brilliant drive by Liam Mag. 2nd place for them. Our championship leader, Emerge KDs, comes home in 3rd. And it's going to be Goat Ghosty who hangs on to 4th place, just in front of the returning Tom 1998. SS7 crosses the line in 6th. We're waiting for Emil to turn the final corners here of the lap in China. Emil is going to come home in 7th. Jacobo, I think, is going to finish in 8th, but it's going to be tight because they've got some penalties here to add on. So Jacobo comes over in 8th. Is Srivatsa going to still 8th away from Jacobo? No, Srivatsa finishes in 9th. E36 Goat is going to take final point here. E36 Goat continues their run of scoring. 10th place for them. And Jaguar Paul, well done Jaguar Paul for at least taking that Williams to the end of a pretty tough race for Jaguar Paul, it's got to say. And for Williams, we lost Mr. Hannes halfway through that race. So not the best day for Williams as Jaguar Paul finishes over the line in 11th place. And I see Srivatsa in the drivers' chat saying they had a fun race. Well, I'm glad you did, and I hope you all did watching. I've certainly enjoyed watching along on this one because it gave us intrigue, it gave us drama, it gave us rain, and eventually it gave us Jakub Oloska as a returning victor here with G-Force Racing. Let me know in the Twitch chat, folks, who is your driver of the day here in China? I'm going to give it to Jakub Oloska, returning to GFR after a long absence, straight on to the top step of the podium. But the championship is not done. So Liam Mag makes sure that we take the championship through to the next round in Vegas next week before we'll know who's going to win. And it's going to be a pretty disastrous race for Emerge KD. So we could be crowning a new GFR champion next week. Our final classification, Jakub Oloska wins and fastest lap for good measure. Liam Mag in 2nd. Emerge KD's 3rd. Ghosty in 4th. Good day for Team RB. Tom 1998 in 5th. SS7 in 6th. Not bad for Mercedes either. Emil in 7th. Jakub O in 8th. Srivatsa 9th. E36 Goat in 10th. And Jaguar Paul 11th. And non-finishers KKE and Mr. Hannes. Well, it's been eventful every race through season 5, and China was no exception. I'm not quite sure why we haven't been back for so long, but I'm glad we were for season 5, and I hope we do return in future seasons as well. Now, what I would normally do at this point, and I'm going to try and do it now as well, is go and say hello to some drivers. And I've just got a very important message that the Mercedes garage is open, so we're going to head there first of all. And I must make sure I unmute Discord, and we'll go and say hello. And welcome back, Season 4 champion and victor here in China. Jakob, congratulations, welcome back. How was that race for you?
Hello. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, after being gone for 4 or 5 races, it's fun to win, honestly. And yeah, the race was fun.
Was the two-tire stint on Inters planned, or did you just go too early onto the first set?
It was planned. I had the exact same weather in one other league race where I didn't do the right thing and my tires blew up on the last lap, so I knew what to do. But we came a little early, I think, and yeah.
Well, it definitely worked out, and you had so much more pace. We saw as those Inters went about 8 laps old, they sort of almost fell off a cliff compared to the new ones. So you timed that absolutely spot on. Now, I've got to ask you this question because you're not going to influence, or you're not going to, win season 5, I should say. But based on the racing that you've seen through till now, who's your money on for taking second place? I'm pretty certain it's going to be Emerge who's going to take the overall championship. But from what you've seen, who's going to take second? Do you think you have a shout for it?
I still think there is a chance for Liam to get the P1 in the championship because he's super quick. But P2, let me open the... Okay. P2 could be either M1 or Liam or me, maybe.
Well, you've got a decent... you are going to move up alongside Liam here as a result of today's... So, yeah, I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, and it will be fun.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Well, it's very good to talk to you once again. Welcome back to the league. Glad that you're fit and healthy. And will you be back next week?
It's Vegas, right?
It is indeed.
Let's go. Yeah, I will be back for sure.
Well, you blitzed everyone in the Ironman at Vegas, so we'll see how that turns out next week. Good to talk to you. Speak to you next week.
Yeah, good.
Let me have a quick chat to a good friend of mine, E36 Go in the McLaren garage. Ben, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you, Mark?
I'm all right. So you managed to get a point at the end. How was the race for you?
Quite disappointing, to be quite honest. But to be fair, it's my own fault. I only done 1 lap practice, so it is what it is.
And what happened in qualifying? Because we just saw you parked on the apex of turn 6.
Yeah, so basically I went to go out the pits, and as I went out the pits, my PC froze and it all shut down. So I had to reboot the system and then joined and then see myself on turn 2, just glitching.
Well, at least you made it out for the race itself. So, and well done for making it to the end. And at least it's another point. So I think you scored every single round for, I don't know, all season? Pretty much.
Yeah, all season. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's consistency for you. Yeah. Well done, my friend. And thanks for talking to me. I'll catch you next week.
You will. Thank you.
Cheers. And one last garage for us to visit. And that is Team RB, Merge KDs and Goat Ghosty. How you doing, guys?
Decent.
Brilliant.
Not
too bad.
Not quite championship sealed today, Emerge, but you're getting ever closer to it. The wet conditions, you didn't really seem to have the pace of the rest of them this week.
Yeah, no. The wet never suits me anywhere, to be honest. I never practiced the wet. I've never liked the wet. But, I mean, after qualifying, I was like, oh, this will be good. And then the forecast said it was going to rain about lap 17. So I was surprised to see Jakob on mediums. But obviously it rained really early, which ruined the strategy in terms of hards. And to begin with, I felt pretty confident, and then I saw my wet pace compared to Liam, and I was just like, nah.
Well, it looks like you had some good battles out there throughout the race, and your teammate was not going too badly again. Now, Goat, we know you're not bad in the wet, that is for sure. But what those intermediate tyres must have been horrible at the end.
I was for the final lap, I was actually managing it. Well, pretty much the whole race I was managing it from Inters. But them tyres were 83 at the end, and that is like pretty much like a lap or so more, and that would have just been blown up. And I'm sure Tom's would have been the same. I'm very surprised we both made it to the end, and I was pretty much sliding out of every exit at the end as well.
Now, we're keeping an eye on the Constructors' Championship because that really is a very, very close battle. A good day for Mercedes. You're going to be looking over your shoulder for the next couple of races. Do you think you can hang on to the Constructors' Championship?
They outscored us by 6 points, didn't they? I think. Because we got 27. Well, I've never done a race at Las Vegas, so it's all down to Goat there. I'm going to have damage limitation. Texas should be good, so I think it will go down to the last race, which should be entertaining. I don't know what I need to do to secure the drivers, to be honest.
We'll get our stats man, David T, onto that. I think you've probably just got to finish in front of Liam next week, but we'll see, because I think Jakob wasn't as far back in the standings as I thought. So we'll see what that does, but we'll get the calculators out. We'll work it out. All right, guys. Thank you ever so much. From a spectator's perspective, it was brilliant to watch, and I'm very much looking forward to a grandstand finish in the Constructors. So thanks for the racing today, and we'll see you both next week.
See you next week.
Right, that's Team RB for you folks, giving us some superb racing, as all of our drivers did here today with GeForce Racing. That was round 10. As you can see, it's going to be very close in the Constructors. May get a little bit closer in the drivers, but I think they're largely arguing over second place there. We shall see. Come join us next week to find out. We are going to be in Vegas, as we were just talking about, under the lights, nighttime race. We're in a track that has probably given us some of the best races in GeForce Racing history. Come and join us for that. We'll be live 8 p.m. UK time next week here on M1 Racing. And we look to close out Season 5 of GeForce Racing. And then we'll have a great big celebration at the Circuit of the Americas at the end of May. So until then, have a great week ahead. Enjoy the racing. Enjoy the summer weather if you're in the Northern Hemisphere as it starts to warm up a little bit here. And we look forward to seeing you next week here on M1 Racing. Until then, stay safe and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye for now.